Title of today's Monday Mindset is Cry or Create Part 2. And I know we had a Cry or Create last week, I believe it was, and this is the part 2 to that. So if you missed that one, then you can go back onto the YouTube and be able to catch that. And so we are definitely still in the theme of the Just Do It season. And Angelina says, love the outfit. Thank you, Angelina. You have to excuse me today. I do have my arms out, and I know it's not protocol for some of the believers on here to be showing your arms sometimes. It is very, very hot where I am. Extremely hot. I don't know where it is where you are around the world, but as you can see, we've got the windows open, I've got the doors open, we've got AC, we got fans everywhere, and it is hot like a fire where I am. And so I know that the traditional protocol is not to have your arms out, but I'm breaking it slightly today, and I pray y'all don't judge me because I understand how important it is to follow protocol. And in fact, we are going to be speaking about protocol, on today's call as well. So today's mindset call entitled Cry or Create Part 2, we're going to be looking at 7 specific things that we need to do in a season where sometimes things don't go the way that we plan. Has anyone been in a situation where things have not quite gone the way you planned? Where something has come up last minute that you was not really planning? Somebody let you down? Something that potentially you thought was a certy, as the young people say, wasn't quite certy, that you had to have a change of direction, a pivot, that maybe, there was a trust issue. Maybe something that you were looking forward to didn't quite happen, or something have you ever invested into something and it kind of fell through, or there was a possibility that it might not happen? What do you do in times when you are in a season where things may not be fully going your way, but at the same time, decisions need to be made? And one of the biggest things for me as the coaches of coaches is to see individuals who have the potential to lead, the potential to create, the potential to pour out gifts to others be wasted. Have you ever seen somebody that you see so much gifts and talents in, but they just don't know it themselves? Have you ever seen somebody sabotage themselves, worrying what other people think, or holding back or playing small, but you can see in them something that they just can't see in them? And as a coach, it frustrates. The best coaches do not just want to, quote unquote, sign people up, get a contract signed. The best coaches really want to see transformation. They want to see results. They want to see excellence. They want to see commitment. But here's the thing, life happens. And so if you are a coach on this call, you're somebody that pours into others. Maybe first this call may be for you, but also I want you to consider sending this recording to a mentee of yours or a client of yours that may be in a position where their back's against the wall. They feel like something hasn't gone their way and they have to make a decision. Most of you know that one of my favorite words is the word decide. Just like homicide, pesticide, they mean to kill. The word decide means to kill the alternative. So once you've made a decision, there is no going back. And so we're going to look at 7 decisions, 7 things that we have to decide to do in order to push through, to get that thing done, or to get something done in a season where it looks like it could be defeated. It looks like it could be over. So are we ready for this? Let's go for it. Number 1 is we have to confront the enemy. We have to look the enemy in the eye and confront it. And it takes humility to fight for the truth. It takes humility to decide that you want your situation to change. You see, one of the things that we can do, especially as the strong person, is to keep going and just pretending as if everything is going to fall into place. Sometimes we may complain, or sometimes we just keep going, but in our subconscious mind, we're hoping for change without actually having the conversation that there is a problem. And I know the personal development gang will be ready to shoot me down right now and say, no, you've got to stay positive. You mustn't highlight problems. But in order to change, you've got to face the enemy. You know, David could not turn around and pretend Goliath didn't exist. He had to be very aware that Goliath existed for him to be able to aim that slingshot and pop that bad boy. Hello, somebody. So you got to know what the Goliath is. You got to understand what it is. Do I have permission to coach you today on this call? Put a yes inside the chat, because I don't want to offend anybody. If you've seen the email, there was a preposition in the email that said this call may cause serious offense. May cause serious offense. Could the enemy be our own fault sometimes? Could the enemy be that we look from a cup half empty sometimes? That we highlight the problem sometimes? That we speak things as if they were already? That we live things as if it's already done? Have you ever heard when persons say things like, oh my God, it's going to rain tomorrow and I'm going to get drenched? Well, it hasn't even come yet, and you're speaking about the forecast before it's even happened. Hello, someone. I speak to people all the time in regards to mentorship and monthly subscriptions. And one of the first things they say is, what if I can't pay next month? What happens to me? I said, well, you haven't even started this month yet. Can we focus on this month first? Then we can look at what happens next month. We are so focused on the get out of jail free card. We're so focused on the what if it goes bad. We're so focused on the current situation. Now, here's the thing, and I was speaking to somebody last week about this, and it was so profound to me. And one of the things that I heard at church on Sunday, it was such in alignment. And I can't remember who I was speaking to, but they can confirm we were having this conversation over a week ago. And at church, the minister, you know, really realigned, like reinforced what it was that I was saying. And I want to just put something to you right now. It may not be your situation, but sometimes in order to confront the enemy, we really need to dig deep and ask ourselves why certain things keep happening. What is your enemy? What does your enemy look like? Is it debt? Is it staying the same? Is it lack of movement? Lack of taking action? Negative self-talk? Is it self-sabotage? Maybe the problem is a little bit more, you know, physical. Is it losing a job? Is it being single and feeling lonely? Is it not having enough time? Is it the children? What is the thing that you need to confront? What is that thing that you need to look at and say, hey, this keeps on going. This is a cycle. This is something that keeps repeating itself. I put on my Instagram, I think it was yesterday, and I said, any lesson that isn't passed is repeated. If we keep on repeating, you know, the same problems over and over again, potentially there's a lesson that we're not learning. And so I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about some of my repeated lessons. And I looked at it and I said this, can we have an honest conversation? And I said this, and it came to me, and I was speaking to Pastor Luke, and I said to Pastor Luke, I don't know if this is scientifically correct, but it sounds right, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to run with it. And I said, listen, I'm going to use this analogy, whether it's scientifically correct or not, someone can shoot me down, but I'm going to use it because it sounded good in my head. And he was actually, that really sounds good. So I'm going to share it with you. Okay. So think about this. When we are born from who? Our parents. We're born from a man and we're born from a woman. And you know, in science, they teach you about the X and the Y chromosomes together. And so from conception, your X and Y chromosomes need to be fed. Now, when we're born, we have this need that needs to be fed from both sides of this scientific combustion that's happened before our even thought of on this earth. And I was looking at it like this. My dad wasn't there. And so I was being fed from one of them, but there was a need on the other side, scientifically, logically, in my DNA that was not being fed. And so as I'm growing up, there's this hunger. My belly is rumbling to be fed in this area. But because I've never been fed in this area, I don't recognize that I'm seeking something that my body, that my spirit, that just by birth, I naturally need. Is anybody following me here? And so now my decisions are based on looking for this thing that I need to be fed. And then I go and I'm attracted now to what I think, because mommy can't give me this because she's giving me from her chromosomes. She's giving me from her side. She cannot give me, no matter how much she loves me, no matter how much she does her best. There is something missing in what she's providing me. And off I am seeking to find this thing on the inside of me. And now I'm attracted to a man who also doesn't have that in him because he doesn't have a relationship with his father neither. And now I'm being fed from a place that isn't at all what I need, but it's I don't even know how to validate what I need because I've never had it before. But all I know is there's this feeling inside of me that needs to be fed. And now I start to make poor choices. Now I start to people please because I associate this feeling with me doing something good in order to keep it. And a string of poor decisions and therapy and all of this stuff roots back to what? Daddy issues. Daddy issues. And so along comes somebody who wants to help me, who sees the gift in me, but I don't recognize it because I'm not used to being fed in that area. So now I chase away. I hurt the very help sent to feed me. Hello, somebody. Has somebody ever come to you that wants to serve and honor and help you, and you turn around and you say, well, what do they want? The defenses are up. The trust issues are up because we associate the people that help us are the ones that do what? Take from us. And so now by default, the energy that I'm putting across is attracting the type of people that want to take from me. And then I in turn say, I don't have no money. I don't have no friends. I don't have this, I don't have that. Maybe I'm just the one supposed to pour into everybody else. Maybe I'm the one to give. In fact, my poor choices lead me to overgiving. My poor choices lead people to take from me all the time. Instead of receiving what I'm supposed to receive, I spend so much time pouring out to others. I spend so much time giving to others to distract myself away from the fact that I don't believe that I deserve to be poured into. I don't believe that I deserve to have the same blessings that I give to others. And so instead of receiving my breakthrough, instead of receiving the prayers that I need, instead of me receiving this word, in fact, some of you right now are writing notes, not to receive it for yourself, but to go and teach it to the people you serve. Because our mindsets are forever on giving to other people. We cannot in no shape or form sit and say to ourselves, no, this is my time. I've come for me. This is not about everybody else that I'm serving. This is about me. This is about me confronting the enemy for me. Because in order for me to grow, in order for me to get to the next level, in order for me to attack whatever enemy that I need to confront, I first have to confront the very enemy that is the one on the inside of me that's self-sabotaging me every single day. Nikki, it's not the enemy that's holding you down. It's not the people that's shutting you down. It's not the fact that you don't have money that's shutting you down. It's not the fact that you don't have a system that's shutting you down. It's not the fact that daddy wasn't there that's shutting you down. It's not what mummy did. It's not what the relationship did. This is the fact that you refuse to confront the very enemy that is on the inside of you. Step number one, What is the enemy that you fail to confront? Because what it looks like after that is excuses, deflection, pretending it's not there, in denial, indecision, poor choices. Can you imagine someone comes to bless you and you fight away the blessing because you don't even recognize it, because your very DNA is craving something that you don't even recognize? Can you believe that the prodigal son, he didn't even understand that the inheritance was already his. He went out looking for something that he already had. To his detriment, his decision left him rolling with the pigs. Have you ever made a decision and you're like, why did I do that? Has your spirit ever told you not to do something, not to go somewhere, to speak to someone or to do something, and you went against your spirit and you realize, okay, why didn't I just listen to myself? Why didn't I just make the decision to do what I felt in my spirit to do? Number one is confront the enemy. Number two is, once you confront the enemy, you got to make a decision to step out of alignment with the enemy's plan for your life. You've been agreeing with the enemy's plan for so long, it's actually disrespectful to God. You know, I was speaking to two beautiful ladies that I mentor yesterday. And these two ladies, two different gifts. One lady has a tangible gift, can make and create beautiful items. Another lady has a digital gift, can literally, create so many things digitally. And we were literally there together. And it hit me like a ton of bricks when the excuses came. Can we talk today? I can see the gifts in these two beautiful people. And I'm not just seeing it with the vision of my eyes. I'm seeing it tangibly because they're living it. They're doing it every single day, naturally. And one came to me and said an excuse and said, oh, I don't think I'm ready to really hear what God has to say. I don't think I'm ready to really take my purpose all the way. Maybe God needs to work on me a little bit more. I said, but you're already doing it. You're already doing it. And the other one said, Nikki, everything is crumbling right now. Work is telling me that I might lose my job. The rent has gone up. And if I lose my job and the rent goes up, I will have no money. But I said, you have a gift. Your gift makes room for you if you make room for it. So whilst you're focusing on all the things that could go wrong, the gift is sitting there saying, hey, what about me? Do you know how disrespectful it is to God when you have a gift and you bury that talent? We already know what the Bible says about, burying talents. The guy that buried his talent, it was taken away from him. It was so disrespectful to God that God was like, you don't even deserve this. The Bible says to be fruitful, multiply, and you shall have dominion. So you've given a gift. The gift is for multiplication, and you're burying that gift. You've come into alignment with what the enemy says about you as opposed to what God says about you. Whose report do you believe? Do you believe Satan's report about you? Because Satan's report is saying you're not ready to launch. Satan's report is telling you stay small. Satan's report is telling you to go roll with the pigs. Give up your inheritance and go and roll with the pigs. Satan's advice is to stay doing what you're doing. Satan's advice is to lock the curtains, be depressed. Celine Dion, my heart will go on. Satan is telling you to stay where you are. Satan is telling you not to make the phone calls, not to connect with mentorship, to have a pity party, to say it's all over, to say maybe next year, to say you get it done another day. Satan's advice for you and Satan's way and path for you is to play small. But God's way for you is to have abundance, for you to be seated in high places, for you to be your royal priesthood. And some of us quote these scriptures, but we don't live them. Uh-oh, I'm going to be in trouble today. It's so good to say, I'm blessed and highly favored. You're blessed and highly favored, but you're sitting down saying that you're struggling. And you've got the gift sitting down there, stressed. The gift is asking you, when are you going to activate it? You have a gift of speaking, but you're not actively sitting there emailing people on Eventbrite saying, hey, have you picked your speakers yet for this event? I see you've got an amazing event. I'm a speaker. You're not proactively taking action. But you're sitting there saying you need more money because faith without works is what now? So you come into agreement with what the enemy says about you, but then you will still sit down and think the world owes you something. Uh-oh, I keep thinking I'm on the VIP call, but the VIPs get a bit harsher, so I gotta rein it in. I gotta rein it in. Sorry. It's disrespectful to God. He's giving you a gift. And you disqualify yourself, you self-sabotage. Nikki, I don't self-sabotage. What does self-sabotage really look like? It means hiding at the back. It means playing small. It means being scared to invest in yourself. It means avoiding staying up late and waking up early to do the work. It means avoiding doing the stuff that's required, but then saying, I don't know why I don't see breakthrough. Do you know freedom isn't free? But do you know what is very expensive? It is very expensive to be poor. Someone's going to catch that on the way home. You know, when you have money, you buy by bulk. You know, poor people pay more. No, they're not getting it, Tantan. It's okay. When we keep quiet about where God is taking us and what God wants us to do, we're actually saying to God that we don't believe that you have a plan for our life. When we stay there and we don't steward the gifts and talents that He's given us, and we bury them, we are literally telling Him, take them away. This is why I get so frustrated, especially with believers, because we say we know the word, but can we be the word? Can we really be the word? How do we expect to save souls? How do we expect people to say that your God is real when you look like your God ain't doing nothing? You look like sufferation on ice. Why would somebody, the word says that we are to spread the good news. When I look at some people, they look like bad news. I ain't even gonna lie, like, you don't look like good news. You're complaining, your energy's off. How many of you know people like that? That every day they can find a complaint about anything. Gotta be careful. So I'm now faced with a decision to make. I confront the enemy. I decide to say, you know what? I'm not going to stay in alignment with what the enemy says. I'm going to go with what God says about me. So what do? That's when we have to create. That's when we have to get in our creative bag. That's where we don't just sit there and go, okay, God is going to bless me. I go against the enemy. And then we sit down and wait. No. And then we say words like, I'm waiting on God. No, bruh, He's waiting on you. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop telling lies on God. You've been waiting on God to do what? Give you the word He already gave you? Waiting on Him to do what? Oh, they're not going to like me today. I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to be in very much trouble. Some of you are here for the first time. God bless you. I pray you come back because this is the just do it season. I'm justifying it now because I don't want them to be scared. But when God lays something on my heart, I'm going to have to tell you the truth. And if it does trigger you, then look into that. Number 3, create. You're sitting on the gift instead of creating. And listen, this is not a strategy call, but I want to just show you. And I want you to put some 7s in the chat if when I say something, there's a light bulb moment somewhere for you, because I want to talk strategy, but this isn't a strategy call. You know, we have the strategy calls in the VIP and on the one-to-one sessions, but here is not a strategy call. But when I'm talking to you, I want you to feel that there's a chance for you to change the situation. There's a chance for you to expand. There's a chance for you to grow, but you got to create. You cannot sit there crying. You've got to create. What do you mean? Create. Create something. Don't sit in the dark wishing and manifesting. That is not going to do it in this season. Hoping, complaining, wishing. Create. When Nehemiah went to rebuild the walls, he didn't just sit there, go to the king and pray to God and cry. He then got up and he went and built the walls brick by brick. You got to create. You have to move. Do. It's an action word, verb. I'll take you to English classes, you know, verb, adverbs. Yeah, the verbs, doing words. That's how I remember them. Yeah, who remembers that? Come on now, you do English. There's something in your hands right now. I don't know who I'm talking to. Something in your hands right now that you are sleeping on that is a gold mine. You're sitting on a gold mine right now. And it's based on you creating that thing. It's based on you opening your mouth, making a decision that it's going to be done. What skills do you have? Go ahead and type in the chat. What skills do you have right now? I meet people all the time who tell me, Nikki, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I haven't discovered my purpose. I kind of know what I want to do, but I don't know how to develop it. And I definitely don't know how to get it out there because I don't have a fan base. I don't have following on socials. All of these negative things, you know, negative. I don't have this. I don't have no money. I don't have no this. I don't have no that. Listen, where you lack in finance, you make up in work ethic. You make up in creativity. You make up in your network. You make up in humility. You make up in service. You make up in action. When you don't have money, you make up in other ways. Floristry. So Jacqueline's a florist. Right? Let me see who else we got on here. Singing, IT. Right? Let me just pull out some ideas for you guys so you can see that you can do this with anything. Singing. Do you know you could literally go down to all the churches in your area and say, hey, I'm a singer. Let me know if there's a wedding. Whatever your singers sing for, I will do it for half price. Floristry. Where could you go possibly who needs flowers? What places could you go to say, hey, look, I'm a florist. This is what I do. I'm not even mentioning social media. I dare say that you could go ahead and press that live button and start telling the world what you do. I'm never going to go there. What can you do in your own vicinity? Because people think posting on social media is activity. No, it's not. It's an advert. Activity is speaking to people. Activity is making moves. What else we got here? Sales, talking, branding, property, listening, counseling course. Speaking, parenting, so many skills. Talking, marketing. Do you know marketing is a skill that some people take for granted? Do you know you literally could go on social media, look for businesses that are doing poor posting, poor marketing, and send them something and be like, hey, look, I saw what you do. This is a nice picture that you could use for your brand. And they go, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yeah, you know, I could definitely help you. Let's jump on a call and see how else I could support. You now add value is what I'm talking about. When you create, you add value to somebody else and doors begin to open for you. Cooking, doing hair, branding, working with send children, psychology, motherhood, teaching. Motherhood. How many of you are mothers on this call and think, oh yeah, I'm just a mom? I've heard that so many times. Do you know how many people right now would want to have a mums group, would want to be able to have mums together where they can bring the kids and do stuff? How many of you know that parents will pay for their children? Parents will do anything to make sure that their children have the best. What can you create that supports the parents? Even in your child's school, could you create a trip once a year and charge them all for doing something? And there are so many things that we can do, but we are so good at pretending that we are helpless, that we will do it next time, or that we're where we are right now, we don't have time. You have more than enough time. More than enough time. More than enough time. So many skills on this call. So many things that can be done with proactivity, let alone systems, softwares, technology. I was talking to my sister today, and we were talking about how, in a humble way, it's very hard for us to have no money. In a humble way. Like, I make money by accident, and I'm not even boasting. It's just natural to me. I was telling some people the other day that I was ordering a waist trainer because your girl's six pack is progressing, so I just needed to, and I'm ordering this waist trainer, and I didn't know what size. Like, they come funny, especially if they're, from China and all that. So I ordered 3 different sizes, and in the end, I ordered 10 by mistake. I don't know what happened. And so I got these waist trainers, and rather than sending them back, I just dropped it out there. Who wants to buy? By the time I looked, I was selling waist trainers for about 4 months. And I said, hold up, this is not my gift. Nikki, you're getting distracted. Like, I could literally create a business from anything. Anything at all. Like, I can't understand why some people don't have money. Can I be honest? There's only 2 reasons why someone may be financially stretched or not making the money that they want, aside from whether you just don't want to. Number 1, you have no strategy, or number 2, you're just lazy. That's it. Because if you really want to, you will do it until your eyes bleed. I remember when we were so down. Overnight, we lost 25,000 a month, gone. We were living a nice lifestyle. And that same day I created a business. The same day we lost it, the same day I created a business. I was like, okay, Nikki, think. What can you do? How can you serve? How can you help people? What is it that people need right now? What is it that people need that I carry, that I can serve, that I can give? You see, you can sit and cry about it, or you can get up and move. The Holy Spirit told me about, in the beginning of the year, create this. I said, really, God? Within 6 weeks, that business was making 6 figures. 6 weeks. 6 weeks, 6 figures from scratch. No money down, just an idea and work ethic, strategy. Are you in your creation bag, or are you so comfortable where you're at right now? There is no reason why your gift should not make room for you unless you are not making room for it. How many of you feel right now that there's a new level that you could go with your gift? Come on now. Everybody gone quiet. Everybody's gone quiet. How many of you on this call right now? How many of you know that you've been playing a bit? I have a special, I have some special mentees who are part of the Nehemiah gang. And they know we don't play over there. But what I realize is everyone has different levels. Yes or yes? Can we be honest? 97%, based on statistics, 97% of the people on this call who hear my voice do nothing. And it's about, as coaches as well, some of you are coaches, you cannot want it more than people want it for themselves. You can simply give the instruction and people have to make decisions. That's why it's called decide. But I can't tell you it's not frustrating. I can't tell you that sometimes as coaches, we sit there and I'm like, Lord, I pray for some people like, Lord, I wish. Send them, Lord. I can help them. But you see, the thing is, There's levels to this. Someone say levels. There's levels to this. There's serious levels to this thing. Because number 4 is around counsel, seeking counsel and accountability. Once you start to create, you don't want to just create like crazy. You want to make sure that what you're creating is trialed, it's tested, it's scalable, and it's durable. And of course, it's ethically balanced. And so you want to make sure that you have the right counsel and accountability, because the right counsel and accountability will save you time. The wrong counsel and the wrong accountability will not only destroy purpose, it could send you to jail, it could send you in the mag home, it could even send you into bankruptcy. I tell this story quite often. And there was a lady, it's about 7 years ago, 8, maybe 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. And I was fresh into my kind of coaching bag. And I remember helping her. You know, she came to me, one of those, oh, Nikki, I'm not sure if I can pay next month. So let's just focus on this month and let's do it. And so we worked out what she was doing. We worked out an offering. In 2 weeks, boom, she was out there. She was making money. And when the 4th week came, when it was time for her to pay again, subscribe. Because this is where the coaches look, right? The coaches are wanting to see the commitment levels. And, you know, we work hard. And at that time, I think sign up was like 200 quid or something. It wasn't a lot. And so, you know, I'd be lying if I said how much she made, but it was a lot of money, right? It was a lot of money that she'd made in the first couple of weeks of working with me. And I never forget this in life. And y'all are going to laugh when I tell you this. She comes to me and she goes, look, Nick, it's been great. I've made money. Look, I can show you what's happened, but I'm going to quit. And I was like, huh? I'm surprised. Like, normally people quit if it hasn't worked. And I was like, well, okay, thank you for like telling me, but why? And she said, because my brother said he doesn't think it's real. My brother said that, you know, mentorship is fake. You shouldn't pay for mentorship. And I said to her, but did you tell your brother what you did? Did you show him the results? Did you show him that you signed up with £200 and by the end of it, you've made X amount of thousands of pounds? Did you show him this? She said, yes. And I said, so what does your brother do? Just out of curiosity. Brother works in Primark. Someone in the chat box said, say less. For those of you that are abroad and don't know what Primark is the budget store. Well, it's not that budget anymore, because Primark be expensive these days, but it's not a designer store. It is a clothes store where you can get things at very cheap prices. And I asked her this and I said, with all due respect, are you going to take the advice from your brother that's folding women's brassiere and underwears for a living? Or are you going to take the advice, not from me, from your own results that you have seen? And you know what she did? And I hope she's not watching this or watching the replay. But way after, because remember, this is the early coach me. So this is the early coach me, was quite savage. Wasn't really praying for people like that. I was just like, you broke people, broke mindset, you know? And I said, I don't understand it, but you've got to do what you got to do. I didn't say it in them words, but I did, you know, we separated. But anyway, years later, many years. Now, this time I'm established. This time I've done help so many people. And do you know, Homegirl said to me, after that month, she stopped doing everything that I taught her. And she's still in the same place that she was all those years ago. It's sad to say this, but some people, they carry keys and some people carry chains. And you have to know for yourself whose report you're listening to and whose counsel you're taking. And, you know, I could have taken that person. I think in my early years, I did take it personally because it was almost like, what's wrong with me? Am I not a good enough? You know, sometimes other people's failure to make good decisions can almost rub off on you if you're not careful. And I'm not going to lie, it did knock me because I was like, what's wrong with me? Is there something I've done? Is this and it did not mean, but what I've learned over the years is to have peace, knowing that I can just give people the information and everyone has a choice. That's the beautiful thing, that we have free will. It's one of our spiritual senses, the willpower. Now, is it easy making the choices that can free us? No, that's why freedom isn't free. But I would rather the pain of sacrifice now than the pain of regret later on. We have to ensure that we are getting good counsel, friends. We have to ensure that when we receive counsel, we don't hurt the help. Do you know that mentorship is earned? It's not a given. Do you know that mentorship, real mentorship, is something that it's a relationship that you constantly have to make sure that you steward well. And I realized that if we take information, that's why we have to test the spirits. That's why when people post things online and when people, you know, we have to be able to look behind the posts, look behind the fleeky Brazilian, or look behind the weave, look behind, you know, the face. We have to look behind the aesthetics. Because some people have very rich branding and their bank account is poorer than poor. Some people have rich lifestyle, but their advice is like Ahithophel or whatever his name is in the Bible that told homeboy to go sleep with his dad's concubines. But we're listening to them because they got a cute picture and a nice filter. We got to be careful who we're getting prayer from. We have to be careful who we're seeking advice from. Because like we discussed on the mindset call last week, is our belief system is very much aligned. It can only be up to where we are, have faith. Our belief system only goes as far as we have the faith to believe. One person said, if I can just touch the hem of the garment. Another person said, just say the word and he's healed. So by our own belief system is where our faith is fueled from. So some people can only come to you with advice based on where their own faith and belief system is coming from. That's why you got to be careful. That's why not everybody can lay hands on you. That's why not everybody can speak a word over you. Some people sounding like they're talking tongues. And right now they're casting spells. Some of you have witches in your phone book. Some of you have people that are doing some crazy witchcraft and you don't even realize it because guess what? You're attracted to the filter. That's how do you think Delilah catch Samson? You think she was ugly? Do you think that Delilah caught Samson because she was ugly? Or do you think it looks attractive? This is why temptation comes in shiny little ways. Temptation will come and it look good, it sound good. But behind closed doors, they've got the old crystals and the sage, and they're doing all of this smoky stuff. And you wondering why you start feeling depressed. You wondering why certain words start coming out your mouth. You wondering why you find yourself in environments that you had no business in. You wonder why you start having those emotions, those feelings. Trace it back. Who you been hanging around new lately? Who's been speaking into your ear lately? Don't ever be so quick to start leveraging. Listen, one of girl, well, stick to the notes, Nikki. Listen and listen to me very carefully. Stop chasing clout. Stop chasing leverage. Stop chasing, these superstars, celebrities. Everybody wants to take a picture with somebody. Everybody wants to look good. How about you look at yourself and say, I'm the one they should be taking a picture with? Hello, somebody. How about you start becoming the value where people want to take pictures with you instead of you running around like a fan wanting to take pictures with everybody? Transferable spirits. You don't even know whose spirit is lingering where. And they talk about these soul ties as if soul ties are just with relationships, like, sexual relationships. Soul ties are in friends, they're in pictures. Soul ties are in your phone right now with screenshots that you've kept for years. Evidence that you're holding on to that goes to what court? The court of your own justification. Digital files that you've kept locked away. Posts that you refuse to delete. People, persons on your page that you no longer even have relations with, that you still want to hang on to the past. These are all spirits. They're transferable spirits. We don't have time to go into this. Got to be careful who you seek counsel from. Got to be careful who you rub shoulders with. You don't know what's going on out there. And all of a sudden, something on the inside of you starts to feel different. Number 5. So now I made a decision to confront the enemy. Now I'm stepping out of alignment with agreeing what the enemy says about me. Now I start to create. I'm getting in my bag. I created a course. I've created a song. I've created a package. I've created an offering. Then I've sought counsel to make sure I'm doing it the right way, to make sure I'm covered, that I have the right resources. And then it's time to take action. Oh, you thought creating was the action. No, creating. How many of you have created stuff that you ain't even put out there yet? Creating is just where it starts. You now have to take the action. And not just any old action, because some of us want to take action without real excellence. We're talking about excellence, action with excellence and energy. Don't do it half-hearted. Do it with your heart. Get excited about your goals. Get excited about your dreams. Get excited about what you're about to put out. Get excited about your life. You got to have the energy. This is why I say turn your cameras on. This is why I say get enthusiastic about the calls. Put yourself out there. When people see your page, are you energetic? When I'm around you, when people are around you, do you bring off good vibes or dead vibes? It costs nothing to smile. It costs nothing to have good energy. Every time, people come around you, are they excited to hear you speak? Or does it come with a bunch of excuses and complaining and negativity? Good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. I want good vibes. Nobody wants to hang around people with dead vibes. Some of you on the phone chatting to people with bare negative energy. So when you're taking action with excellence and high energy, irreversibly, you don't want anybody around you that's not taking action and that has low energy. What's low energy? What's low vibrational energy? Problems for every solution. They never have no time. They never have no money. They never have no prospects, no vision, no nothing. Where the single ladies at on the call? What's one of your prerequisites when you want to meet a man? Most of the time I hear people, he must have vision. He may not have money, but he must know where he's going. He must have vision. What else are you looking for? You want a negative man or you want a positive man? You want a man that's always saying he ain't got no money, or you want a man with money? You want a man that's got, who's always confused, or you want a man with wisdom and clarity? Man with ambition or a man with no ambition? Listen, when we were going through our darkest season, do you think me and Anton could look at each other with no money and sit there and do nothing? Anton got to work. Anton was like, listen, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go get a job and I'm going to create this. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. Can I say this nicely? Uh-oh, I'm going to get in trouble. When God gave the word to Abraham, right? And we ain't going to talk about the Sarah Hagar like saga. But when he gave the word to Abraham, Abraham had to do what? Did he move? He had to move. He had to move. God said, listen, the promise is that you are going to be what? The father of many nations. But in order to get that promise, you cannot stay in the same place where you are. And guess who also had to move when he moved? When I move, you move, just like that. Guess who had to move? When Abraham decided to move, Sarah went with him. Someone in the relationship has to move. You can't have two people looking at each other going, boy, things are tight, you know. Boy, we can't afford certain things right now, you know. Should we lock off the electric? You're going to cut off your gym membership. And you're both looking at each other like, yo, what's going on? He's looking at you, you're looking at him, and you're looking at him, and he's looking at you, and there's no money coming in, and we're all twiddling up. No, sir, it can't work. It can't work. Someone has to move. Somebody has to move. When you're single, you are the one that has to move because guess what? It's you one. But if you are in a relationship, and nobody's moving, problem. Someone's got to take action. Someone's got to have the energy. Someone's got to be speaking life. Someone's got to be saying, listen, we got to change the situation. I'm looking at the numbers. Something's got to increase. When me and Anton first got together, he was in Jamaica. You know what he had? He had a dream. He had a dream to own a restaurant. He was working in Sandals, head chef. And his dream was to own his own restaurant. They say when a man marries a woman, all things start to change. Multiplication. Within the first year of our marriage, Anton had his restaurant. First year. Someone has to be the one speaking life and encouraging. Someone has to be the one that says, listen, this is the dream. How do we put our hands together to make it happen? What's the goal? How do we move? Are we going to sit there and just say, maybe next season? Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. We just leave it as it is. That's a sign. How many you know when you were dating when you were younger, you didn't ask the right questions? I never even asked no questions. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, you like me? Okay, nice. That was a prerequisite. Does he like me? Remember, I needed something. My daddy didn't give it to me, so I needed it. I was looking for it. There was no questions asked. But when me and Anton got together, it was very clear. I had my questions. I was very clear on the questions I was asking. Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about the roadman situation. That's a VIP girl. That's a whole nother conversation. How we mature now. We've got to take action. I can't sit and cry about it. I can't tell myself life isn't fair and live in the pity party. This happened to me. Because guess what? When you decide to take action, guess what's going to happen? All hell breaks loose. Do you think the enemy's happy that you're going to make a decision to move forward? So you're going to expect it. You're going to expect the rent to go up. You're going to expect money to come out. You're going to expect the tire to bust. You're going to expect these things. But you say, despite it, still going to push through anyway. I still know what God told me. Oh, Nikki, I got so much going on. You know, the kids, the bills, sickness. Do you know? Uh-oh, I'm going to get in trouble for this one. Do you know that your council tax don't care about your sickness? Do you know that the gas bill don't care about your tire popping? Do you know that the Netflix bill doesn't care that you sat in A&E all night with your child? Is it too harsh today? And they will still knock the door to repossess your television. Has anyone ever had the bailiffs come to your yard? Listen, I had the bailiffs come to my yard by mistake one time and I was shook. I was rustling through my account. I swear I paid. I can't do it. I can't. Hiding behind the thing. And I paid it. I was going to Anton. They're going to come. They're going to come. This thing ain't no joke. They do not care. I'm telling the brother, it's a mistake. I've paid. He's like, show me where. You know, your girl don't really, I just be paying for things. I don't really be keeping records. I'm having to scrummage through. I've paid. Be knocking on the door. These people don't care about your stories. They will repossess the very bed you're talking about that your child is on. They're happy for your kid to sleep on the floor. So here's what it's going to be. Are you going to just complain about it? You're going to keep having so many reasons why you just can't knuckle down and follow through. Or you're going to just do it. You're going to get it done. You know, I'm going to go there today. I don't know if she's on the call, my girl Gladys. But Gladys is part of my inner circle. And so I hold her to a higher standard, yo. And this girl will be sending me paragraphs. And I said, you sent me about 5 paragraphs, homegirl. And I have no idea what you're talking about. Have you ever been guilty of over-talking? Gladys is my girl. I know I can talk to her like that. You know, when you have a relationship with someone where they trust you, they know that you have their best interests at heart. I can't talk to everybody like that. I can't. I had one person ring me, Nikki, you're rude. I'm not rude. I'm just telling you the truth. If you don't have money right now, you need to create. You need to get in your bag. Telling me you don't have money isn't going to help. Do you know? Can I give you a bit of strategy? Can I go there? Can I just give you a little strategy, right? If you hear it, we're going to work this out together. This is my financial literacy brain on, right? And we're going to get back to Gladys in a minute. I ain't forgotten you, Gladys. I'm coming back for you, right? So check this out. Let's say you're living from check to check right now, right? And, you know, things are, you're in between your millions. You're living from check to check. And you balanced everything out. You've worked out that everything is going to be good this month. But out of the blue, something you was not expecting comes through the door for £200. Now, you ain't got no money. We're not going to talk about borrowing or anything like that. You literally just don't have it, right? And I'm talking from experience. When we went for a tough time, £200 for me was a lot. We didn't have it. And then on top of it, your child comes home and says there's a school play, everybody's going, it's £100. And there's a deadline and it needs to be paid by the end of the month. You got 3 weeks to make this £300. Now, the emotional side is your child. You don't want your child to be left out. You don't want your child to be the only child in class that's going to get laughed at because their parent couldn't afford to send them on a trip. But then you got to make sure the £200 is paid as well. Otherwise, the bailiffs are going to come knocking on the door. So you need to make £300 in 3 weeks. Now, here's the best part of it. You have a product that you're selling, and the product is £50. Someone tell me, what are you going to do? Nikki, why are you yelling? I'm just passionate, sorry. Getting into it. I'm getting into it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to be able to make sure that your child gets on that trip and that £200 bill is paid? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? So my brain is that if I've got a £50 product, this is how I think. I've got a £50 product. Are you guys seeing how the numbers are the numbers? This is not faith. This is not me saying, okay, God, we need to help the Lord. Lord God, I'm coming here prayer. No, you need to create. Oh, Heavenly Father, yeah, that is all good. But that's not going to pay your kids Bill right now, we need to create. So how many strategies have we got in the chat? First thing, we could do a discount if we really wanted to push it. Second thing we can do, we worked out that 50 times 6 is 300. So we need to make 6 sales. How many of you are following me right now? How many of you are with me in these trenches right now as we make this money so our child can go on a school trip? How many of you are with me right now? How many of you know that there's a strategy on the inside of you, but you've refused to look at the numbers? You've refused to do the work. Hello, somebody. It works with 300. Guess what? It works with 30,000. It works with 6 figures. Told you I'm the numbers girl. I'm the money girl. I'm the money girl, and I'm telling you, it works. It works. We called it reverse engineering. I'm giving too much strategy on this call today. This is Monday mindset. Could sell by bulk. Let's put our hands up. I've been playing, Nikki. I need to start taking action. Got to take action, the right action. And I don't mean skim read, because some of us take a little bit of the action, run with it, but we didn't do the work. We didn't do the full work. So you got so excited on selling, but you didn't work out about the contracts behind the scenes. So people now start asking for refunds. You got so excited and ran forward, but you forgot to send the product out to people. So then there was complaints. This is a word to somebody. Stop skim reading. Stop wanting to take shortcuts. You know how many messages my admin team get every day with people asking questions that they were given the answers to, but they just didn't want to read? Let's stop taking shortcuts and really pay attention. You know, my mentor said something to me this week that was so profound last week. And he said, Nikki, pay attention to the timeliness of when you gave an instruction to the timeliness of when they take action. Don't ever cheat the process for someone. Sometimes as coaches, we want to overcoach. We want to give instructions on top of instructions. And he said, Nikki, pay attention to those that you give the instruction to and the timeliness of when they take the action. Because that is a clue. It's going to tell you whether that's somebody that you want to invest time into, because we have to be a part of our own rescue. You cannot want it more for people than they want it themselves. How do you tell if somebody wants it? Because if you position someone too soon, it could ruin lives, like the prodigal son. Wanted the inheritance too early. Sometimes we want the limelight too early. We want the titles too early. But just like my arms being out, I understood that there was protocol and process for a reason. Do you know when you go into church, they wanted, they didn't want the women to wear, tight trousers because they were thinking there were distractions to the pastors. They want your arms out, too much skin. Your mind is taken away from what you're there for, and you're now focused on other areas. When I was younger, I was licking out, like, I don't understand these protocols, these procedures. But sometimes when we divert away from the protocol and procedure, what happens is we become vulnerable because a process was missed. If you're a coach on this call, I'm going to say something to you that you may have a tendency to do, but I'm going to give you a very strict instruction right now. You can be coachable and take it, or you cannot. It's up to you. But stop cheating people of their process. You give a fish, you feed them for the day. But if you teach them to fish, I used to really help people cheat the process. Oh, bless them. They haven't got time. Let me do it for them. Bless them. They haven't got the money. Let me pay for them. Bless them. No, when actually you think you're blessing them, you're cursing them because you are breaking the process. There is a blessing inside the process. When people feel pain, that's normally when they feel the transformation. It's normally when it's go time. How many of you have created your best in pain? many of you have decided to do something when you've been faced with an obstacle? It's the process that we learn. And if you cheat people the process, this is why I have processes now. This is why processes protect. This is not about personality. This is not about friendship. This is why some of you have problems defining the lines between ministry and business and friendship and business. How many of you have ever felt funny to speak to a friend and say, oh, you know, I hired you for this, or you were supposed to do this, but because we're friends, I didn't really know the lines were crossed. Can I tell you something? Documentation beats conversation every single time. I don't care if we're best friends. I don't care if you're my auntie, my cousin. We are going to make sure that we have documentation. There are lines. Yeah, we're cool. Yeah, we're friends, but there's a process. Never cheat people of the process where they can grow. That's where the pruning is. That's where the chains start to break. That's where the creativity starts to come in the process. If you expose people too soon to a level they're not ready for, you actually leave them vulnerable. You know what happened to me one time? I'm going to tell you something. I brought one of my cousins to an event, and it was a big room. It was a room in front of some very important people, and I didn't prep her. It was my fault. I did not give her the right prepping. I just assumed she'd know how to carry herself. I didn't give her the right prepping, and she made herself vulnerable. She made herself vulnerable in that room because when people were speaking to her, she was way out of her league. And the words she was saying isolated her and made her a victim. She didn't have to be, but I took responsibility. You know why? She had no business being there. I'd earned that room. She hadn't. She hadn't earned it. And so when you want to help people skip the process, you will actually hurt them in the process. Stop wanting to do it for people. Let people go through their process. Let them understand that the pain is connected to sometimes lack of obedience, sometimes lack of taking instruction. Number 6, expect the unexpected. Here's a question for you. How many losses do you take until the enemy wipes you out? How many losses can you take until the enemy allows you to fold on what God said? You know, it's interesting. The Bible tells us to forgive how many times? 70 times 7. But it's interesting how we fold very easily under pressure. Sometimes they say, what pressure produces power? That's where diamonds are made. You hear all those cliches. But you wouldn't believe how pressure makes people fold. People cry instead of create. A harsh reality that I learned a few years ago is that we'll never out-earn. Never. We'll never out-earn. We'll never out-harvest. We'll never outgrow our own personal growth. Never. Never. We will never outgrow our personal growth. We will never out-harvest our personal growth. In other words, it's kind of rude. In other words, it's saying, if you're not happy with your growth, maybe you need to grow. In other words, if you're not happy with the harvest, maybe there's some seeds that need to be sown. If you're not happy with what you're seeing that you're producing, there's some personal development that's required on the other end. Yeah, this is gone out of hand. It's deep. Expect the unexpected. What are you going to do about it when the enemy comes for you? When you're met with restrictions, when you're met with obstacles, when you're met with certain things this week, how are you going to stay calm? Someone cuts you up in the road and all of a sudden road rage. You ain't even the church girl no more. All of a sudden you're like, oh, dirty boy. You don't even know where that come from. All of a sudden. All of a sudden. Is that all it took for the enemy to draw you out? Lost 200 quid, and all of a sudden you've turned into Godzilla. How much does it cost for you to go back to the old you? How much does the enemy need to do to force you into the old version of you? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to challenge it before it comes? When it comes, you guys will hear my voice and be like, oh my God, this is what Nikki's saying. Let me just stay calm. Let me count to 10. The Bible says, what? A wise tongue keeps a still head? No, a still head keeps a wise tongue. And number 7, and then we'll close off. Be serious. Be serious about the change and committed. Be serious. Never fold or quit on a mission that God gave you. And I find it interesting how we're so quick to say, "Oh, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna pause." But before the enemy came for you 2 months ago, you was on fire. God gave you this. God told you this. But under pressure, we change the words that we start to say. We change our confession. Never, never, never quit something that God has given you a word on to be able to do. Be serious and committed about the change. That's how people will take you seriously when they see you're serious. Have you ever seen somebody that every season they're doing something else? Them confused. You ain't never taking them seriously because you know they're flip-flopping all over the place. 1 minute they're here, next minute they're there. 1 minute they got that man, next minute they're that man. You don't even know what to say when they introduce you. Oh, hello, are you? Oh, okay. Lack of commitment. Sometimes we say we're waiting on God when it's just disobedience. We don't want to learn the lesson that He's teaching us. All the things I've mentioned today, are not, they're not the problem. They're not the root. They are the consequence. And I don't have time to go into it today, but a lack of money, a lack of friends, are consequences. They're not the issues. Hence why when you want money, you don't focus on money. You focus on the root. Why don't I have money in the first place? Is it my poor stewardship? Is it my lack of creation? When you want a man, you don't focus on the man. You focus on becoming the person that attracts the man. Becoming the person that attracts, the friendships. These things are byproducts of behaviors, attitudes, and energies. So when we're serious and committed, people take us seriously. People commit to us. But it's about breaking inconsistency. Refusing to submit under counsel, good counsel, can ruin us. But we'll never, ever, 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 will never out-earn our personal growth. We never will. And the clues are there. Being serious and committed requires these 2 words, long term. Being in things for the long term. My husband used to tell me off all the time because I'd be somebody that gets really excited about people. I meet people and I'm like, oh my God, this person, yes, I believe that I can really take this to 6 figures. And he's like, Nikki, you get excited about people all the time. And then the next time I ask you, and I'm like, yeah, but I feel it, because I believe in everybody. I always say I will never ever give up on people. I believe in everybody. I just like, all right. And then randomly he'll go, oh, how's such and such? How's this person? I'm like, oh yeah, they're taking a break. I just like, blaming at you, Y'all don't see it, but trust me, he has me behind these scenes. Is your obedience seasonal? Is your obedience connected to how you feel? I'm going to give you the last analogy, which is the tear analogy, TEAR. Your thoughts impact your emotions, which ultimately lead to your actions, which then lead to your results. So, how you think, your thoughts, if I'm thinking positive, if I'm thinking with an abundant mindset, is going to lead to positive emotions. If I'm excited about my life, if I'm excited about my goals, if I'm in go time, if I'm moving and shaking, if the things that I'm seeing and hearing are positive, then my emotions are going to be upbeat. My emotions is going to be focused. And guess what? That's going to lead me to take massive action. It's going to lead me to take the right action, which ultimately get me the results. Harsh message today, but it's about removing the mask. It's about really shaming the enemy, not about having embarrassment about where you are or about what's happened in the past, but it's about shaming the enemy. It's about owning where we are so we can defeat the enemy. Then it's coming out of agreement from where the enemy has told us. And then it's getting in our creation bag. And then it's seeking counsel. And then it's making sure that we're taking massive action, being consistent, and then having that attitude that by the grace of God, I will not quit. I'll be committed. I will be committed and serious about where I'm going. No amount of loss, no amount of obstacle, no amount of negative talk can stop me from doing what I'm supposed to do right now. In this just do it season, it's time to create, it's time to put it out there with action and have that accountability so that you can go to the next level. And here's the thing, duplicate it with your mentees. Duplicate it with the people you serve. Get them out of their head. Don't be like the earlier me that wanted to just shake this woman and say, you've got the results, silly. Don't listen to your Primark brother. But I was holding back. I was playing too small. I didn't have the courage or the tenacity to stand on what I knew. And when you don't stand on what you know, other people fall. We have a responsibility to do this, guys. And so as we go off into the week, I want to encourage you to take massive action. I want to encourage you to analyze what enemy you're defeating this week. I want to encourage you to think about who's your accountability right now. Who are you going to have hold you accountable? Not no little nice talk, but that will step on your corn toe, that will risk upsetting you, that will risk the friendship. I always say to my mentees, I will risk being friends with you for your own breakthrough. Y'all can hate me. Y'all can talk about me behind my back. I expect it. It comes part of the role. But what you won't say is Nikki would allow you to stay small. What you won't say is Nikki's going to allow you to be mediocre. Not in this season. And if you haven't already booked your Come As You Are ticket, I don't know if anybody here is coming to Come As You Are. We have the Super Pink VIPs. If you have put a £50 deposit down, there is a special code that you will need to be able to purchase your tickets. But also as well, we have a special code. I think it's Gold 99 for those of you that want the gold ticket, okay? So the gold ticket has a special promo code for the rest of the Just Do It month, okay? So it's comeasyouare.vip, or you can go to anybody who's, you know, been on the call or in the VIP. They can share with you the links, okay? And it's Gold 99 is the promo code that allows you to have a massive discount on the gold tickets, okay? We're doing that just on the gold ticket entrance for the 2 days. I think it works out like 150 or something like that. Definitely capitalize on it, because once that promo code runs out, that's it, finished. And also, if you can, please follow our Instagram page. Shout out to Sister Natalie, who is running that side of things on the Come As You Are Instagram. Please follow us. Okay, if you saw the video at the beginning of this call, you know that Come As You Are this time, November 14th, 15th, 16th, is going to be a whole shutdown in a beautiful mansion, resort, lovely swimming pool, jacuzzi, all of that. But we are talking strategy. Okay, we're really going to go into strategy over Come As You Are. It's going to be phenomenal. The Friday is the pink VIPs and the super pinks only. I'm going to have a dinner with the super pinks as well on that Friday. We're going to really talk business plan, strategy, enhancing, your purpose, and really scaling your business. On Saturday, we're going to be talking strategy on woman and her mind, woman on her spirit, woman and her decision making, women and her health, women and her business, women and all things women on the Saturday. And then Sunday is Holy Ghost fire. We are going to be doing a spiritual day on the Sunday, where we're really going to tap into the mindset required to implement the stuff we learned on Saturday. So it's going to be a packed 3 days. Of course, if you're a gold ticket holder, you'll be there Saturday, Sunday. If you are super pink and pink VIP, you will be there on the Friday. Also as well, the hotel has told me they only have 55 rooms left. So if you haven't already got your room, please, you might want to partner up with somebody and share a room, but there is not enough rooms for the amount of people that we're going to have. There is a sister hotel around the corner. It's about 5 minutes around the corner, so have no fear. But if you want to be in the same place, then you want to go ahead and book your hotel with your, roommate as well. So all the information is on the website. Once you purchase your ticket, all of that information comes out to you. So have an absolutely amazing week. Crush it with your goals. Take massive action. And I will see you same time, same place next week, God willing, as we continue with our Just Do It series. All right. Take care, guys. God bless you. Absolutely love you. Have a phenomenal rest of your evening.